Well, at this time, I have the pleasure and honor of getting to introduce this gentleman that has done a wonderful job all over this world, preserving our history and our Choctaw culture through the art of storytelling. And at this time, would you please welcome Mr. Tim Tingle?
Thank you, Assistant Chief Austin. Thank you, Chief Button. For those of you who know Choctaw culture, those of you who are familiar with possibly New Mexico American Indian culture, which of course is not Choctaw, the drum I'm playing has Kokopelli. He's not Choctaw. I'm playing the drum to honor a friend of ours. His name is Greg Rogers. I began to work with Greg and teach him storytelling 10 years ago now. Greg said, I want to be a writer. I don't want to be a storyteller. I want to be a writer. I said, oh yeah, I'll help you learn to write. Great. I'll teach you stories. You can be a storyteller. I don't want to be a storyteller. I want to be a writer. I said, well, at least learn this little rabbit tail story. I don't want to be a storyteller. I want to be a writer. So I taught him a little rabbit tail story. And every time he told it, he would make fun of it and mess it all up, which is kind of what Rabbit would do in his trickster way, right? So I was asked by Johnson O'Malley, which is an Indian support fund, to perform before students in Tulsa. There were maybe 200 students at Tulsa. Johnson O'Malley, all Indian students there. And Greg was in the back. He was riding around helping with some book sales and learning to be a writer, right? But he'd heard me tell that rabbit tail story I don't know how many times. So when they introduced me as the storyteller, and there were 200 students out there, I had an hour to tell stories, I stood up and I said, folks, I have a very special treat for all of you today. You get to hear the very first premier storytelling performance of Greg Rogers. Give him a big round of applause. And Greg was stunned. I had forgotten to mention to him the little detail that he would start out. Of course, I didn't mention it deliberately. And they all clapped and looked back at him, and he looked at me and he started to shake his fist, and I said, oh, look at him, he's joking. Give him a round of applause. And they kept clapping and clapping, and finally he got up there, and I knew he told the only story he knew how to tell. And he started it out. He said, long ago, there was a Choctaw Rabbit. And this kid about 3 rows back said, we already know that story. And I thought to myself, okay, now we learn whether Greg has it within him to be a storyteller. Because if you're going to be a storyteller, someone in front of the mic, you have to know how to improvise when things happen. And Greg looked at the kid and said, oh yeah, you know about the part where Rabbit grabs a machine gun? And the kid said, oh no, I don't know that part. So well, then be quiet and let me tell the story, kid. And so he told the story, and of course there's nothing in it about a rabbit with a machine gun. This is a traditional Choctaw story. And when the story was over, and he did a great job, and everybody clapped and loved it, and he was walking by the kid and said, what about the part where the machine gun comes out? And he said, I had to get you to shut up, kid. I had to make that up. And he walked back, and I thought, okay, he's got it. He can do it. And he became an incredible storyteller. A powerful storyteller, the kind of storyteller that would bring you to tears with his Trail of Tears stories, the kind of storyteller that would make you roll with laughter, the kind of storyteller that wrote 3 books, the kind of storyteller that 2 years ago, 2 days before Christmas, died of a heart attack. 2 months before his first children's book won the Oklahoma Book Award. I have copies of it here. His mother collects funds, the Greg Rogers Book Fund. She collects funds to keep his book in print. And she sends his book out to people that are out in the public, She says, I'm not charging you for it, and don't charge anyone for it. Give his book away. And be sure they know to remember Greg. So, the Choctaw word for hello is halito. So I want all of us, if we could, with great reverence and honor and a smile, to look upward and say, halito, Greg. Are you ready? Here we go, everyone. Halito, Greg. Halito, Greg. Halito. So, I need some children volunteers. So the kid in the baseball cap that's asking his mother if he can go, come on up, I need you up here. So the little girl there that's got to be her uncle that's holding her, come on, let her come up. Come on, you can have a seat right here. Oh, come on, you can come, and your brother too. Come on, have a seat right here. Have a seat. Me. Yeah, come on, you have to. Okay, the little kids, any little kids? Yeah, come on up. Don't wait for me to call you. Come on, have a seat right here. Any grown-up that feels like a little kid. The lady back there, come on, you look like a little kid. Come on up. Okay, come on, quick, and you can join them. The adults can join them. Come on, kid, you're going to miss out. Come on. All right, are y'all ready? We're going to do the rabbit tail. All right, you have to turn around where you can see me. I know you want to perform. That's why I called you, kid. All right? Now, here's part of what you kids have to do. When I tell the rabbit tail story, you're going to make the rabbit ears and all that, but you have to look back at your grown-ups, and if they're not making rabbit ears, you have to tell them to. So it's up to you to make sure your grown-ups behave. Okay? So they have to make the rabbit ears too. All right, ma'am? I know, but it's just part of the story. Are you ready? Here we go. Here we go, guys. Hello. You have to look. Long ago in the land of the Choctaws, there was rabbit. Whoa! Are your parents doing it? Okay, here we go. One more time. Let's do it. Here we go. Long ago in the land of the Choctaws, there was, do it, kid. Come on. There was rabbit. Okay, and you can put your ears down. And rabbit had one problem. Rabbit just wouldn't stop talking. Let's all say that. Rabbit just wouldn't stop talking. He would go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. He just say it one more time. Wouldn't, louder, wouldn't stop talking. And he lost most of his friends, but there was also Fox. Fox was not like Rabbit. Fox had a nice fox house. He had 3 fox babies. He had his fox wife. But every morning he would go down to the river to fish. I didn't say foxy wife. I said he had his fox wife. Stop laughing. Every morning he would go down to the river and he would fish for catfish. He would sling that fishing line out in the river. He would go, shoo, plop, and reel it back in. Shoo, 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 shoo. So let's all do it. Here we go. Shoo, plop. Now wait, when I say let's all do it, that means like everybody. So here we go. Shoo, plop. Shoo, 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 shoo. Here we go, everybody. Shoo, plop. Shoo, 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 shoo. One more time, here we go. Shoo, plop. Shoo, 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 shoo. Now, in traditional Greco-Roman, Judeo-Christian, Western European scientific worldview, 3 is the number of power. But we are an American Indian nation, so we go for 4. So we're going to throw that fishing line one more time. And if you wonder what traditional Greco-Roman, Judeo-Christian, Western European scientific work, don't ask me. I just read it in a book somewhere. I don't know what it means. Okay. Okay. Let me jot that down. Okay, that joke did not work. Don't use that one anymore. Here we go. Are you ready? Shoo, plop. Shoo, 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 shoo. And at the end of the day, he had caught just enough catfish to feed everybody in his family. Does anybody remember how many catfish that would be? How many in his family? 5. How come 5? Because logic. We'll go with that, kid. All right, 5. All right. So on the way home, he was going, oh, come on up. Come on up. Here we go. Come on up. Come on up. Come on up. Quick. And stand kind of beside me. And don't. Butdo, 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 home. Here we go. And Butdo, 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 home. That's not Choctaw, but it's kind of fun. Are you ready? Here we go. Everybody in. Butdo, 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 home. But he didn't make it home because once you catch catfish before you fry it, it smells pew-wee bad. Let's all say that. Here we go. Pew-wee, bang. Logic, Mr. Logic, right? And it smells so bad, and that fishy smell works itself all the way around the nose of that old rabbit. Let's all say it. All the way around the nose of that old rabbit. Good. And Rabbit said, smell like fish to me. So we went, hip poppity, hip poppity, hip poppity, hip poppity, hip poppity, hip poppity. Reluctant. And he jumped in front of the fox and he said, give me that fish. Can y'all say that? Give me that fish. And the fox said, no way. Let's all say it. No way. But you know, Rabbit, he just, say it with me, wouldn't stop talking. He kept on and on. Well, I just need a little bitty fish. How come you don't give it? And he wouldn't stop talking. Finally, Fox realized the only way to get rid of that rabbit was to trick him. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. This was back so far long ago, Rabbit had, do it with me, a long, beautiful, bushy tail. Let's all do it. Here we go. A long, beautiful, bushy tail. Not at all like the little powder puff of a tail like it's got today. And I'm glad I remember, because this is how it got that way. Fox took one look at that tail. He said, Rabbit, seemed to me like you got that fishing tail. Rabbit said, fishing tail? Let's all say it. Fishing tail. He said, yeah. All you have to do is go down there where the ice is covering over the river. You know, winter's coming on. Get your rock and you chunk that rock out there. But I love to tell this story in Connecticut. Because in Connecticut, they do not know how to conjugate the verb to chunk. They do not know the conjugation of that verb. Anyway, you chunk it out there, it busts a hole in the ice, and you go out there and you stick your tail down in the ice water, and the fish will come along and grab. All you got to do, you go flip in your tail. Let's all do it. Flip in your tail, and the fish will go flopping on the shore. Rabbit said, I can do that. Can y'all say it? I can do that. Fox said, yeah, I bet you can. He picks his fish up. Shoo-wee! Let's all say it. Shoo-wee! I'm too old to try to do what you do, son. And he made his way home. And Rabbit looks around. He said, guess better go fishing. So he went, hip poppity, hip poppity, hip poppity, hip. Made it, picked that rock up, chunked it out, busted a hole in the ice. And then he said, ooh, it's cold. I don't know if I want to step on that ice or not on my bare. Wait a second. I'm a rabbit. I can't have bare feet. I got rabbit. Never mind. So he stepped on the ice on his bare. Whoa! It was cold. Woo! 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 And then he heard it. He knew what that was. It was the beast that rules everything. The beast that must be fed. Say it with me. It was his tummy growling. Tell me the tummy doesn't rule everything when it comes down to it. I believe it does. So he tipped. Whoa! It was cold. Whoa! And then at this moment, the Choctaw Rabbit created the power of positive thinking. No, he did, because he began to sing a song as he sat down on the ice. It's gonna be warm. It's gonna be warm. I didn't say intelligent thinking, I said positive thinking. It's gonna be warm. Here you go, louder. It's gonna be warm. Everybody, it's gonna be warm. Whoa, it was not warm at all. Woo, it was cold, cold, cold. And finally, he said, whoo. And he got that tail, and he stuck his tail down. Ooh, it was cold, cold. And he shook his tail, but the fish just weren't biting. And finally, it got to be freezing cold, and something grabbed a hold of his tail, and he thought, ooh, I caught me a fish. What am I? And then he remembered. He went, flip in his tail, but his tail stayed right where it was. He thought, this is good. I caught a big fish. He went, flip in his tail harder, but there still weren't any fish. And then he thought, all I have to do is count a chafa, takalo, takshina. Oh, I'm sorry. That would be 1, 2, 3 in Choctaw. All I have to do is count 1, 2, 3, jump up, bust the fish through the ice. I'll never have to work again. Let's all say it. Never have to work again. Okay. So let's all count 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to say it really loud, but you are not going to jump up on the chairs. Let the children jump. I don't want you adults jumping up and down on the chairs. So contain your enthusiasm, especially you, Mountain. Are you ready? Here we go, nice and loud. 1, 2, 3, jump! And he jumped up, he said, I got my fish, I got my fish, I'll never have to work again, I got my fish, I got my... Wait a second, where'd my fish? And he didn't see his fish anywhere, and while he was wondering where the fish... Oh, you found the fish? Well, that's for another story, son. That's for the sequel. Right now, we don't have a fish. Oh, mercy. He said, I can't find, where's my... And when he was wondering where his fish was, he felt a cold breeze right back where he'd never felt a breeze before. And he said, ooh, that's funny. My tail always... Where is my tail? And then he saw it. It was waving back and forth, frozen solid in the river of ice, leaving Rabbit with nothing but that little powder puff of a tail, just like he's got today. And all because he wouldn't stop talking. So, for those of you that have never heard the Choctaw story before, that story was taught to me by my mentor, Charlie Jones, who was the best Choctaw storyteller who ever lived. He was an amazing person. There's a sculpture of Charlie Jones at our national capital right now. Charlie Jones told me that story, and told me that story, and told me that story. And every time I would see him, he would tell me that story. And it was a few years after he died that I realized maybe he was trying to tell me something by always telling me about the rabbit who wouldn't stop. Maybe he was telling me something. No, he was the wonderful rabbit. But he also told me something else I want to share with you that's made a huge difference in my life. He said, you're going to go out there and be telling stories all over everywhere. I know you like it, and you're going to be good at it. You're going to like it. And he said, there'll come a time where there's not an empty seat in the whole place, and there'll be people standing up, and you'll feel so darn proud, and oh, isn't that something? He said, there's also going to be a time when you're going to see some empty seats out there. And he said, that's the time to celebrate, son, because those seats are not empty. Those seats are filled with people you love and care about, but they've already gone on. But they wanted to hear you tell stories, and they wanted to see the dancing, and they wanted to be with Choctaws, so they made sure there was an empty chair. He said, when you see those empty seats, you see people you remember that you care about and you miss. And then he said, and not just your people, but the people of those you're speaking to. Their gone befores are there with them too. Always, always, always. Because that's who we are as Choctaws. We know that people take on another form of life, but life never ends. And when you need them, they are there. Just as I live right up the hill from where those floods a few years this past year washed Wimberley away, 400 houses away, and I live right up the hill from that dam that flows over into Wimberley. And a few years ago when we had similar floods, my dog woke me up, and I ran downstairs to see if the house was about to be washed away. And off underneath some trees, I saw this, something was just moving and twirling and something, and the water was flowing 1 million gallons a second over the dam, 1 million gallons a second. And something was still floating. And in the morning, I got up and I walked down to see if I could see what that was, caught in the treetops with the river flooding. It was my father's Masonic Bible. It was stored in a little storage place just enough down the hill, and everything from that storage place washed away. The lawnmower equipment, everything else washed away. But somehow my father's Masonic Bible turned and twirled and floated up. My father had died a few years ago, and it was just him letting me know, I'm still here with you, son. So I took the Bible and I opened every page and I put towels in it and I read them out. It took me hours, and I've still got that Bible. And one of these days at the right time, I'll pass it on to my son. He knows and respects and loves his Choctaws too. So you've seen the rabbit side of Choctaw, and you've seen the spiritual side of Choctaw, and we both somehow figure out a way to live side by side in peace, just as the Choctaw Nation lives and loves the American capital, the American people, the American service people, as we live hand in hand forever. Nakoki, thank you.